To quote Ben Franklin's famous words, "In this world nothing can be said to be certain except death and taxes." Taxes can at least be partially skirted by a clever accountant, but there is no evading death. We will all die one day. And if we're very ill or in great pain when that day arrives, we might welcome it. However, in most states, a physician would not be legally permitted to help us end our lives. Only 4 states, Oregon, Washington, Vermont, and Montana, have legalized physician-assisted suicide. Furthermore, the federal government and all 50 states, along with the District of Columbia, absolutely prohibit euthanasia under general homicide laws. As you'll discover in the supplemental readings for this unit, the U.S. Supreme Court made a landmark decision in a well-known case involving an individual in a persistent vegetative state, whose parents sought to end her life. In Cruzan v. Director, Missouri Health Department, the court held that Missouri had a constitutional right to require clear and convincing evidence of the patient's wish to die, thus rejecting the right of any surrogate to make the decision on the patient's behalf, even if the patient were brain dead. As Chief Justice Rehnquist wrote in the majority opinion, an erroneous decision to withdraw life-sustaining treatment is not susceptible of correction. Close family members may not wish to witness the continuation of the life of a loved one, which they regard as hopeless, meaningless, and even degrading. But that is no assurance that the view of family members will necessarily be the same as the patient's would have been had she been competent. The concerns in this case, and in the cases of Karen Quinlan and Terry Schiavo, testify to the legal complexity of end-of-life issues. But as bioethicists, we need to consider an additional question. Is physician-assisted suicide ever ethical? Our textbook presents the opposed views of the philosophers John Locke and Patrick Lee. Locke defines a worthwhile human life as one of conscious and intelligent enjoyment. Should that enjoyment cease and misery ensue, then, according to Locke, assisted suicide should be an option. He justifies this conclusion by reference to the utilitarian principle that the end justifies the means. So, provided the end result or consequence brings about a net benefit for the majority of those affected, the suicide is justifiable. Lee, on the other hand, rejects physician-assisted suicide on the grounds that we're morally required to have respect for all human lives, including our own. Every human life is intrinsically worthwhile, and to end a life because of pain is to treat that life as a mere instrument, in this case, for the cessation of suffering. In your essay for this unit, you'll consider these ethical positions and tell us which one you find more convincing and why. In addition to the question of physician-assisted suicide, the discussion board for this unit invites you to consider the case of Admiral Chester Nimitz and his wife, who committed well-planned suicides, informing their children in advance and carefully arranging their affairs prior to their deaths. In a note commanding that they not be resuscitated, the Admiral wrote, "Our decision was made over a considerable period of time and was not carried out in acute desperation. Nor is it the expression of a mental illness. We've rationally, consciously, deliberately, and of our own free will taken measures to end our lives today because of the physical limitations on our quality of life." It seems the couple left nothing to chance. They died when they wished, how they wished, and without undue suffering. My question to you, was their decision morally right? Your classmates will be very interested to read your views on the discussion board. I hope you argue with conviction and substance. Best wishes for success.